Thank you for joining us tonight. Multiple suspects are in Pulaski County Jail connected to 3 armed robberies in Little Rock over the weekend. Police say last night officers to all 3 convenience store robberies in southwest Little Rock simultaneously. Officers responded and were able to arrest Colleen Barnes and Mark L. Simons on felony charges. Both men face felony charges including aggravated robbery and theft of property. THV 11 is working to get more information on this developing story. All right, now I am here with meteorologist Corrales Ortiz. We've been seeing some pretty active weather this weekend, but what do people need to know before they start their workday tomorrow?
Yeah, so today we were a lot calmer compared to yesterday. We had a few lingering showers early this morning, but otherwise it was just cool and cloudy.
A lot cooler. I had to wear a sweatshirt. It's been a while.
Did you have to wear a sweatshirt? I did. That cool for you, huh?
For me, I wasn't used to it. It's been a minute.
Yeah, it felt more like early spring, even though it's a nice change compared to the almost summer-like temperatures we had the last couple of weeks. But yeah, today was definitely a lot cooler than we normally have for this time of year. On average, it would be around 80, and a lot of us were stuck in the 60s. I do apologize. I'm missing a little bit some of that data here in Little Rock, but for the most part, the warmest we were was around 67, and that was about midnight last night. So we've been stuck in the mid-60s much of the day. A few spots to our north and west didn't even see the 60s though, and we're still pretty cool right now. 61 here in Little Rock, in the mid-50s already to our north and west, but it was a lot warmer to our south. They're still in the mid-60s as of tonight. We'll be cooling down into the upper 50s tonight. A few pockets in the low 50s, possibly upper 40s. On average this time of year, our overnight lows are in the low 60s. Starting off your Monday, we are going to be dry, just still cloudy though. The clouds are still going to be lingering. We're going to be seeing those temperatures in the upper 50s to mid 60s by noon. We are going to be warmer though as we go on, but I'll be talking about our potential of seeing some more rain in the forecast. More details are coming up.
Now from coast to coast, patriotic men and women, including some veterans, are biking to honor soldiers' memories as we approach Memorial Day. They stopped in Russellville today to share their stories with our local community, and THV 11's Jay Jackson has more details from the road.
Run for the Wall is a very emotional journey. It is a lot of healing, and part of that healing is what you see here.
Coming from California, over 200 motorcyclists who were both veterans and veteran supporters stopped to rest at the River Valley Veterans Memorial Park on their way to Washington, D.C. on their 10-day therapeutic ride. Their stop here in Arkansas is the halfway mark.
Day 5 is the day through Arkansas. It is the longest and the hardest ride of the entire journey.
Christina Raulston, the Arkansas State Coordinator for Run for the Wall, welcomes the riders to rest and eat as they pay their respects to the dedicated fallen soldiers on the River Valley Memorial Walk.
As a veteran, I'm proud that we have such an outreach today with our veterans groups here locally that have come out to support the mission of what the Run for the Wall is.
Pope County Judge Ben Cross says there's nearly 5,000 veterans living in Pope County, so to hold this event reflects the people who live in the community.
It's an honor to have this group here to be recognized, but also to recognize the sacrifice that's been presented out here in our Veterans Park.
Those veterans who were lost in service are missing in action beginning with World War I up to the present from 4-county area right here are listed on the wall panels.
The entire ride was canceled for the last 2 years due to the pandemic. Ralston says she's just touched by the multiple groups of veteran organizations who came together to make the short rest stop meaningful.
It's emotions that you cannot explain. You just feel it in your heart.
In Russellville, Jay Jackson, THV 11 News.
And riders will continue their cross-country journey with a final destination of the Vietnam Veterans Memorial Wall in Washington, D.C. You're also invited to join the Vines, Adam Lesdo, and our THV 11 team in celebrating our service members. This upcoming Tuesday is the 2022 Carry the Load Relay. It's traveling across the U.S. ahead of Memorial Day as well. It's a 2.5-mile walk from the cemetery to the Central Fire Station on Chester Street. You can register and find out more information on how to get involved at carrytheload.org. Having a baby is usually a happy time for families and a time of excitement, but for Black women, that joy can be overshadowed by a fear of the health complications that they could face. Studies show they often face a higher risk of dying during labor or delivery. THV 11's Michaela Johnson spoke with a mother who almost lost her life during childbirth and shows us what could help fix this health disparity.
Shanae Nelson looks like a picture of health today.
They've got me running.
Rewind the clock to 2014. Shanae, 32 weeks pregnant, thought she was going in for a routine appointment. A quick check of her blood pressure and nurses put her on her side. She was suffering from severe preeclampsia.
At that point, it was stroke level. They were concerned that I was going to seize at any moment.
The only cure, deliver the baby.
3 pounds, 1 ounce. She spent 1 month in NICU.
An extremely scary time for Shanae, one that would repeat itself 4 years later.
And it was like deja vu.
But this go around, even worse. Shanae developed severe preeclampsia 6 weeks earlier than her previous pregnancy.
When Emery was delivered by emergency C-section, and it was a very traumatic experience in the way that she was delivered.
Her baby's heart rate plummeted.
She was in severe danger at that time.
But so was Shanae, her new doctor telling her bluntly there was a chance she could die.
And that's how we said it. So no compassion at all.
In a turn of events, Shanae's OBGYN came in, stopped the emergency C-section until it was safer to perform the surgery. Her daughter Emery delivered at 1 pound 3 ounces and spent 3 months in the NICU.
I'm convinced that had things gone in the way that they had initially planned, I don't think I would have woken up from the anesthesia.
Shanae's experience is all too similar to other Black women, but it doesn't always have the same outcome. According to the CDC, in 2020, the maternal mortality rate for white women was 19.1%. For Black women, that percentage was 55.3%. That's a 30% higher death outcome. So why is this?
Pregnancy associated versus pregnancy related.
Dr. Gloria Richard Davis says institutionalized racism is the foundation, and it creates more problems.
Oftentimes, women try and communicate to their patients, to their providers, right? That something's not quite right. They may not know exactly how to convey that, but they know something's not right. And oftentimes, they're brushed off.
This was the case for Shanae.
I shared with my doctor that I wasn't feeling well, and it was sort of dismissed as, oh, well, you're pregnant.
Other factors that have a hand in why Black women, specifically in Arkansas, have higher rates of maternal mortality: where in the state do they live? Do they have underlying health issues? Dr. Chriselle Nash with Arkansas Blue Cross Blue Shield says Arkansas is severely underserved medically.
If something happens acutely and you need to get care, you're trying to get to an urban center, to a UAMS or other institutions. And that can have an impact on your health outcomes.
Studies show that of the Black maternal deaths in 2020, 92% of them were preventable. It begs the question, what's it going to take?
And so by doing research, you're able to give them those numbers.
As Dr. Claire Brown breaks it down, it's a tier approach.
A policy tier and the individual tier, there's a middle tier, the healthcare provider level.
The individual tier is all about women and their support system knowing the symptoms that could lead to a severe maternal event. Then, health policy. A big push now is Medicaid expansion.
By having Medicaid expansion, women who are low income are able to have insurance prior to their pregnancy or in between pregnancies, so that they're able to get those conditions under control. They develop a relationship with a provider.
And finally, health provider level. This tier requires hospitals and doctors alike to do the work to create culturally aware spaces.
Having that awareness can ultimately allow for a provider to help treat their patients kind of better.
3 important points that these doctors say will help protect expecting mothers, especially ones at a higher risk. A risk Shanae knows all too well, which is why she urges Black mothers to ask questions and don't be afraid to get a second opinion.
We focus so much on the joy of bringing life into the world, but we don't talk about some of the dark side associated with pregnancy.
In Little Rock, Michaela Johnson, THV 11 News.
Thank you so much, Michaelin. Now, common pregnancy symptoms can be warnings of something way worse. If you'd like to learn more about those symptoms, the Arkansas Department of Health and the CDC have resources for Black women who are pregnant. We have those links on our website at thv11.com. And the first plane load of baby formula arrived in the U.S. from Germany today as the Biden administration tries to resolve a shortage hitting too close to home for parents across the country. Elise Preston reports from New York.
The U.S. military cargo plane carrying 78,000 pounds of desperately needed baby formula landed in Indianapolis. Sunday's Operation Fly Formula flight from Germany was the first of several expected from Europe this week. The C-17 brought in 132 pallets of Nestle brand specialty formula.
It is a large shipment of very specific and specialized formula. Formula for moms and dads who have children who have allergies, where the regular formula just simply will not work.
The White House is scrambling to bring relief to parents across the U.S. struggling to find formula. The shortage worsened when the nation's largest domestic formula manufacturing plant was shut down in February after a whistleblower raised safety concerns. Federal officials say Abbott Nutrition's Michigan facility may resume operations in the coming days, but it will take about 2 months before product is ready for delivery. At least 4 babies have been hospitalized in South Carolina because of complications related to the shortage.
These planes that are landing right now are going to provide some incremental relief in the coming days. We're going to keep working on it over the course of weeks.
And in an effort to prevent formula price gouging, New York City Mayor Eric Adams declared a state of emergency on Sunday. Elise Preston, CBS News, New York.
Well, we have a wet week in store for us. We could be dealing with some bouts of heavy rainfall. We'll have the latest details and what to expect for your week ahead coming up.